People of the world, hello and welcome to Marketing as a Foreign Language, episode 219. Let's go. Our guest today is a saint. A saint. Did you know that deacon at his local church 30 years ago, imagine that, 30 years ago, starting a advertising agency back when, I don't know, typewriters were a thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Having a 9 to 5 and going, you know what? I got this client on the side, got my side hustle. They're growing. I'm going to go and I'm going to make the jump. 30 years of experience, not doing it alone, mind you, doing it with your wife, Kathy. That's now Bynums Marketing and Communications, blending the old with the new. Do you feel me? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Do you have any idea how many war stories, how much nuance goes into that much marketing over that period of time? Also, his oldest daughter is getting married. Welcome to the show, the one, the only, Russel Bynum.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, man. So there's just so much ground to cover. So this will be one of 26 episodes. So it's just episode number 1. Let's start with the marketing. And then we're going to go back. We're going to get that life story. So we're talking backstage about blending the old with the new. Talk to me about marketing strategies in 2021. What's working for you?
Well, we find that like you mentioned, the blend is very important. People have a tendency to want to just go in one direction, but we found it's been very good to blend like a billboard campaign and have a QR code, have a text to give or a text to enter. All those type of things. People are. I still feel the need to be intrusive. Marketing often. When we're dependent upon people being in front of the phone or on their keyboard, but there's oftentimes people are not on their phone, they're not in front of the keyboard, and those are the times where you have that intrusive marketing and advertising. It might be they're watching a TV program, maybe they're listening to a radio show. Now, if you're like me, you may find yourself at sometimes watching a football game and having your phone right near you and actually texting back to your friends, like, did you see that play? But the concept of blending both of these mediums is just so exciting, and there's so many opportunities that we see that many marketers have not taken advantage of. But I see that over time, I see some people recognize, hey, yeah, we're doing this social media campaign, but what about a billboard? What about, some direct mail? So we've blended both, the best of both, because it's nice to get likes, but it's better to get someone to come into your store or someone to put something in that cart and make that purchase.
Yeah, I mean, I will admit I have been the guy who judges that stuff. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been the guy who is like, all this radio and TV and whatever. I was also the guy who, when I was at the old advertising agency, the second, like a legitimate TV purchaser came in, I was like, ooh, that's real advertising, like actual advertising. So there are still billboards, and I was in California, and I met this gentleman who had a home very close to the Pacific Ocean. And very wealthy, very successful. And I was talking to him, like, what do you do? Billboards. I'm like, okay, so I mean, that world it still exists. It
still exists, and it's very intrusive. And like I was just talking to my rep, and they just put up a new billboard, and one of my clients is on it. And I asked him, well, how many people, what kind of cars, or how many cars are coming past? And he said, we haven't done the study yet, but we're looking at 120,000 views of that that's a lot, and it's intrusive. So you're going to see that billboard. You can turn your eye away from it, but the way it's located, you're going to see it. And if you travel that way every day, there's no way you can miss it. Although when I'm, watching some things on YouTube and the ad comes up, they better get my attention really quickly because I'm done.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, me too. You got 5 seconds. You got 5 seconds. Yeah. I don't think you pay until they get to 29 seconds, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
But still, everybody's skipping. Yeah. Hear me, marketers, when I say this. If you don't do something in the first 5 seconds of your YouTube ad, you're crazy. Like if you don't brand your company in the first 5 seconds, like, what are you doing? Like don't do what do you do? Don't do like a panning shot of some random like the sky and some trees, and people like I have no idea what that is. Skip. Okay, look, I'm trying to get a sense of everything that you offer. So I know you do public relations. I know there's some billboard, TV, radio. Do you do SEO, pay-per-click?
We have an outside help for that, but we basically are we're kind of really hands-on in the sense that we're doing very targeted social media, Facebook, Twitter. A lot of it is actually connected to something physical, maybe a direct mail campaign, maybe but when many of our clients, as we're helping them build out their website or improve the website, we will have some SEO done for them, that type of thing. And as you know, most website developers offer that, and we understand SEO, but we want to stay as intrusive as possible. And SEO is good because it is, when someone's searching for something, but, I want to get you before you start searching. I want to intrude on you. So when you're searching, you're looking for me. Okay. Which is unique, because often if you start searching, like I've had some clients even complain about it, maybe people start searching, but then they're also looking down the line, and maybe I'm at the top, but they're looking, oh, maybe I should try this one too. So, and then once they start searching, I had a client that was selling suits, and he says, hey, when the people start searching, they get all off the beaten path and look at other people that's selling suits.
Right, of course. I mean, because they're searching for suits, Las Vegas.
Yeah, and so if you haven't built a relationship through other forms of communications, it's possibility that there's someone else who has a suit that's $50 cheaper, and they will. And if they may even find one that looks just like the one you have, and then they're gone. So this is really great what's happening with SEO and all these type of things, but we do have to understand that there are some drawbacks for when people just are shopping and not looking specifically for you. And that's what our PR and our total holistic type of branding that we try to bring to our clients.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense to me. People aren't, maybe they're searching for a hamburger joint, a restaurant, maybe. But a lot of people are just like, where's the nearest McDonald's?
Yes.
Right.
Because McDonald's has built that. They own, I used to do a workshop, or not used to, anytime I do a workshop for marketing, I ask people, what comes to your mind when you say fast food? And like 80% of the audience usually says McDonald's. Mm-hmm. They own a piece of your brain. They have marketed so to a point where there is a footprint in your brain that says food, fast food, and McDonald's is the first one. Now, then if I say, what's the second one? Then the room lights up with a bunch of different people, organizations. And so it's long range branding. I took my kids to Canada one day, and we were driving through, and I said, my wife said, okay, let's go to a nice restaurant. And they didn't want to eat anything except McDonald's. So we go into this nice restaurant, and they want French fries and a hamburger.
Yep.
So that's marketing. Starts early.
Oh yeah, it sure does.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to the early days and
Mhm.
the decision point in which you jumped to that client at the time. Do you remember that first client that you had
Yeah.
on your side hustle? Who were they?
It was New Heart Hair Clinics. It was a hair replacement firm. The guy found me. I put a little ad in some community paper saying that I would do, I could do design work. He found me that way. It was a 2-man shop, and they were helping people who needed hair replacements. Some were celebrities and football players and people like that. Others were people that had medical conditions, including cancer, that type of thing, and men and women that needed help, and he helped them. It was a great client. He grew, just kept growing till he was doing millions of dollars a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So wigs and toupees?
Well, that was part of it, but the actual there's a system in which they take hair from one part of your head and put it in the balding spots, and it grows. It's like a planting a bulb.
Right. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, that's what everybody wants, right? I mean,
yeah,
like, give me actual hair, right?
yeah. So yeah, we wrote a book. My wife wrote a book called The Ultimate Solution to Balding and
Mm,
Hair Loss, and and we would sell, technically. We gave the book away for free,
sure.
and it was an advertorial, but it actually had some some in-depth medical stuff and warnings and all that kind of stuff, because we had lawyers and all that reviewed everything, but it was a lot of testimonials.
Hey, when people are losing their hair,
Uh-huh.
men and women,
Yeah.
it can be a devastating effect on
Oh
their
yeah.
life and their self-esteem, and
Yes.
they think about it all the time, and so reading
Mhm.
testimonials is kind of what you want to do. I mean, you want to read
Yeah.
about people like, this has really turned things around for me, and
Yeah.
it's true of almost any medical condition. You want to
Yes.
hear from people that have suffered through it, that understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's fascinating to me. So you were doing graphic design for them. You put together a book. That
Mm-hmm.
particular client grew.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how long did they remain a client? I don't expect you to say forever.
No, but they were about 15 years.
Oh,
They were
tremendous
long.
amount of time.
Yeah, they were a long-term client. We did everything from PR to marketing, to the graphic design. The beginning was graphic design and writing, and then as Kathy got more involved, we went more for the marketing part of it and strategies. And that book was part of a strategy. And they did things like giving back to organizations, to young people, different organizations.
Sure.
And John Gagliardoni, who was the founder or one of the founders, was like a celebrity here in Pittsburgh, because of the people he helped. And there were people that were using their services that I could not divulge, that I knew of, because
Hmm.
of
So
you know.
let me stop you there. Let me stop you there.
Mhm.
So, because some new people just hopped on the show. So you're working at like a hair restoration company back
Yes.
in the 90s, 80s?
Yeah, 80s, like middle 80s. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And there are some celebrities that, are losing their hair.
yeah,
And you
yeah.
know about it, but you can't tell anybody.
No, yeah, and news people, things like that. But here's the key. There were some, like Grizzly Adams, that actually we used them in the brochures. They would show before and after. So there were some that did divulge. Others didn't.
Do
You
you
know.
feel do you feel like there is some sort of baseline soul of what advertising is, and that itself has not changed despite the mediums changing?
I think advertising in general is about people improving, enhancing good advertising. There's some advertising, but you may see it on our website. We like to work with people that improve and enhance life, and positive things. I mean, some people are in situations where heredity or whatever happens, and you can help them feel better about themselves. As me being a deacon, we also believe that I have some clients that are around faith or hope, and so it's about helping people feel better and have assurance in their life and understand that they're valuable. You know,
Hmm.
it's about every life is valuable, every person is valuable. So that comes across. Advertising gets a bad name, marketing gets a bad name. But when I look at it, if it wasn't for marketing, we wouldn't have the free market system that we have. We wouldn't be able to move from one income level to another. Many of these platforms that we had were started by very young people that was able, some of them didn't even finish college, to propel themselves up to a very high level of income, but also bring everyone along. And that's why we're a lot about unity among people, because we do feel that if a person prospers, they can bring someone else up. And so the concept of people being against each other, the poor against the rich or whatever, we have to understand that we all need each other. And that's me getting into another topic. But the point is that advertising is really accelerated sales. Good salesmanship is giving people something that can enhance their life and better their condition.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
my, some people, look at advertising as a negative, and it is definitely a positive when used. It's a neutral practice, but when used in the right way, it is a very positive um, profession.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree entirely. I feel like advertising is an innate human quality. I feel like we all do it. We advertise in our relationships.
Yes, we sell.
Yeah, we sell. It's just
Yeah,
as it,
it's all about salesmanship. In fact, that's what when I first started the business, John Gagliardoni, when I let him know I'm going out on my on my own, he said, remember, you're a salesperson first, and everything else. You might be a designer, you might be a writer, you might do marketing, you might do some ministry, but you're a salesperson first, because people's got to believe, and you've got to show them that you're worthy of trusting. So that's what advertising and sales is. Yeah.
it's so true. And
Yeah.
I remember being terrified of sales
Yes.
because as a young man, I took a job selling auto parts on the phone, and it was
Ooh.
just horrifying. The
Yeah.
rejection was so painful.
Yes.
And I just thought to myself, well, if this is sales, I never ever want to sell anything my entire life.
Yeah.
And there are people listening to this who feel similarly. They think sales, oh, no way, that's not for me. But when you go home and you're trying to decide what's for dinner, or how to raise these children, you're selling. You're selling
Yes.
your ideas.
Yes.
Otherwise you just roll over your whole life, and everyone
Yeah.
else dictates what your life becomes, and that doesn't end well.
Doesn't work.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's good. There's a lot more marketing stories here, but with 10 minutes remaining, I do want to start at the very beginning, either with your parents or with your birth. Where do you want to start?
Well, I guess um, I can start with my I was born in Pittsburgh, but my parents lived they were in South Carolina, in Richmond, Virginia, those areas. Eventually, we moved. I was about 5 or so. We moved up to Pittsburgh, and I started school. I went to a parochial, Catholic school. My mother's mindset was that she wanted all of us to have a good education and go to college. That was her big thing. My kids are going to college, and it was 5 of us, and she ended up raising us by herself. And
wow.
Yeah, Dad left, and so she had 5 kids, and she raised us all by herself. She encouraged creativity, art lessons, music lessons, played tennis, played basketball, lived on the north side of Pittsburgh. How would you say? Went to church. You had to go to church every Sunday. And eventually all of us are working in the church in some way or another. She was very mission minded. So she would, by the time we were in high school, she was working with an exchange program with the kids at some colleges. So she would, every few months, maybe a college student from out of the country will come and stay with us.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So we had, we learned a lot. Young people from Europe, young people from Africa. We just one person, because she had a room, and she would, bring them in. So we learned a lot about culture, different cultures, different people. She went on a trip with the church. They were doing these trips. And so she went on one of those cruises. They go from island to island. She went to Haiti. And when she came back, that's, all she talked about. She joined a group from a group called Friend for Mission. And I like to go with her. They used to have these banquets, and there was an artist, an African American artist here in Pittsburgh, Walt Sims. Walt Sims was a tremendous artist, and I like just to, he would design the program. So I would just, who would come with me to the banquet? I said, I want to go. And I look at the program, get to talk to him, those kind of things. And eventually a young man there started FLM, or Functional Literacy Ministry of Haiti. And he asked me to get involved a few years later. I got involved off and on. And eventually I was asked to be board chairperson. And just recently they asked me to be deputy executive director. So I'm doing a lot, in that area, and I also work with young people, just trying to encourage them from, the church standpoint and faith. And then we've been involved with mentoring with some young people up at a school in this region. Everybody in my family is in education except myself. My mother was a teacher, brother and sisters were teachers, and they're all teaching. A couple of them are getting ready to retire. But so that was the thing, and I've always been teaching young people. I like to use a lot of creativity in what we do. We've done some things, like we had a church had an anniversary. In fact, it was our church had an anniversary, and the founder of our church, decades ago, he was there. But we actually had a guy come dressed up like the founder and drove up to the church on horseback. The media just covered it and things like that. So we try to, merge some of our marketing ideas. And we've done some plays where we bought camels in, and we just do that, we use marketing, we use sales in everything we do, from teaching to our religious education to this business. So we had a lot of fun. We just feel that you should have life can be fun, and there's a lot of creativity. Our theme is release the power of creativity. That's our theme for our company. And really we were just doing some type of program, and my one daughter works with us, and we were talking about, what do you want your life to be like? And I just mentioned to them, I want my life to be a life of encouragement. I want people, when they think about me, that they think, okay, this guy is going to be a source of encouragement. So that's my goal in life.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Purpose. You got purpose.
Yeah.
So I have 2 children and 5.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Oh, on one salary, plus you're raising these kids.
Yeah.
I mean, hello. You're gonna learn a lot of lessons
Oh, yes, definitely.
from a mom that is dealing with 5 kids, going to church on Sunday. It's what we're doing. Holy smokes! I can only imagine. Where do you fall in the order, 1 through 5?
I'm the oldest.
Okay, so extra burden on you.
Yeah, I was. How would I say? I was encouraged to be a leader, even if I didn't want to be one.
Oh yeah, you had no choice.
Yeah, and I've been blessed in the sense that my family, even with our company, there are some times when I'm doing some things, like we do street teams, and I can call up family members, and say, hey, I've got to cover the Hill District, or I have to cover East Liberty, and I got some people helping me, but I want you to be there, and I want you to oversee, and I want you to to get this going. And they get out. We got T-shirts with our company logo, and they get out and they do what they have to do. And we've been blessed because, again, the encouragement of creativity. Got a dancer in the family. We got people that are good with acting and all of that. So when I'm doing these plays, I can draw from outside, but I can also draw from family members with costuming and set design and all of that. And so it really helps with a team. It's a team concept. And I guess being the oldest is, and being in those leadership positions, it's helped me to interact with them. But it's also helped me in other board situations, because I'm big on this birth order thing. So I'm very much aware of personality types. I know you've heard of the Briggs thing and all of those. So I pay attention to that when I'm dealing with board members outside. Sometimes I'm sitting there and I can say, oh, you're a firstborn, or you're a middle child, or, I'm aware of that. I don't play it all out all the time. I don't tell people that, but I'm aware of those type of things that are happening, that dynamic that happens. And surprisingly enough, we all have a tendency to stay in our roles. If it's even your roles in school. If you were if you're part of a certain group, you may tend to be in that type group even as an adult, unless you make up your mind, hey, I'm not going to be there anymore. I was actually really quiet in school. However, I had this art, and it really helped. Not only, I got along with everybody. I could sit at any table in the cafeteria because I could draw pictures. You know what I'm saying? And so there was a dynamic that happened for me. And in being an artist, you can be quiet. You can just do your work. You can design, or you can draw. And you're cool with everybody. Church really forced me or encouraged me to, you had to memorize, you had to do things, you had to speak, you had to be in plays. So when I went to college, you know, and they asked us to do presentations. Other students would say, like, how can you do this? Well, I knew how to do that from, you know, from the church and community stuff I was involved in. And because my mother just, you know, you had to go to the Y, you had to learn, you know, you had to do things. You went swimming almost every other day in the summertime. You know, and of course, playing basketball, whatever. And I learned how to get along with people of all different cultures. Went to a predominantly white school, but grew up in a mixed neighborhood, predominantly Black. So I, you know, and my kids are the same way. We've taught them to interact with people and to look at each person as a person, and, you know, grow from it. There's so much stuff that you can learn. Like I said, I'm dealing with the people in Haiti. My wife and I actually was teaching up at a Chinese church several years ago. We bring the kids in, they play basketball, and I play basketball with them at that time. not now.
Yeah, yeah. So let me give you an opportunity here. So as we wrap up, let the folks know where they can reach you, phone number, email, that sort of thing, website, you know, contact information, in case they're interested in chatting with you further. Yes,
you can reach me at 412-471-IDEA or 4332. So that's 471-4332. That's by phone. You can email me at Russel, Russell, at Bynums.com. Russel at Bynums. Bynums is plural.com. And you can visit our website at Bynums.com. Bynums.com. Be glad to talk to you.
Just like an ad. Just seriously, like right off the TV. That's Bynums. S, it's plural. I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Marketing as a Foreign Language, episode 219 with the one, the only Russel Bynum. Hopefully we will have him back on the show. Excited to have you. I'll give you the final thought.
Well, I would just encourage everyone to release the power of creativity.
Beautiful. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.